In April 2005, the gates of the Longbridge factory in Birmingham closed for the last time. Workers stood outside in silence. Some cried, some shouted, some simply stared at the place where their families had worked for generations. Nearly 6,000 jobs vanished overnight. Tens of thousands more in the supply chain were suddenly at risk. For Britain, this was not just another company failure. This was the death of a national symbol. MG and Rover were names tied to British identity, post-war optimism, and the idea that the United Kingdom could still compete in global manufacturing. But how did it come to this? Because just 5 years earlier, the story sounded completely different. MG Rover was supposed to be saved, rescued, reborn as a proud, independent British carmaker. Politicians praised it, newspapers celebrated it, workers believed in it. Now you might be thinking this was simply inevitable, that British carmaking was already dying, that global giants were too powerful. But here is where it gets interesting. To understand MG Rover, you have to go back decades. Rover was once a respected British brand. MG stood for sporty, affordable performance. Together, they represented a golden age of automotive engineering in the United Kingdom. But by the 1990s, Rover was struggling. It faced quality issues, aging models, and intense competition from Japanese and German manufacturers. In 1994, BMW stepped in and bought Rover, hoping to turn it around. At first, it seemed logical. BMW had money, engineering expertise, and global reach, but the partnership never worked. Losses mounted, cultural clashes grew. And by 2000, BMW had had enough. BMW decided to break Rover apart. Land Rover was sold to Ford. Mini was kept by BMW. The remaining business was almost shut down entirely. In 2000, a group called the Phoenix Consortium appeared. Led by former Rover executive John Towers, they promised to save the company. They bought MG Rover from BMW for a symbolic sum of £10. £10. The British government supported the deal. The public celebrated it. The idea of British managers saving a British car company was emotionally powerful. Production continued at Longbridge. Cars like the Rover 75 and MG ZZ models stayed on the road. At its peak, MG Rover employed over 6,000 workers directly and supported around 75,000 jobs across the UK economy. But beneath the surface, the numbers were ugly. MG Rover was losing hundreds of millions of pounds. Its product lineup was old. There was no modern small car, no competitive platform, and no serious research and development budget. Instead of investing heavily in new models, the company relied on facelifts and rebrands, old cars with new badges. The strategy bought time, but not a future. By 2003, cracks were impossible to ignore. MG Rover was reportedly burning through around £2 million every week. Sales were declining. Quality perception was weak. Competitors were releasing fresh, fuel-efficient, globally designed vehicles. Behind the scenes, executives were paying themselves large salaries and pensions. Later investigations revealed that senior figures had secured tens of millions of pounds in compensation while the company itself was collapsing. Public trust began to erode. The company desperately needed a partner, someone with money, scale, and technology. That partner, they hoped, would come from China. Before we move on, please subscribe to our channel. We want to hit 5,000 subscribers. In 2004, MG Rover entered talks with Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation (SAIC). The deal was supposed to save everything: new investment, shared platforms, a future for Longbridge. Workers waited, the government waited, the media waited. But the deal dragged on. Disagreements over control, intellectual property, and funding stalled progress. At the same time, SAIC quietly acquired rights to key Rover technologies without committing to saving the UK operations. Cash ran out. In April 2005, MG Rover entered administration. Production stopped instantly. Workers were sent home. Suppliers were left unpaid. The rescue everyone hoped for never arrived. After the collapse, investigations began. Reports criticized the Phoenix Consortium for poor governance and excessive executive pay. While not all actions were ruled illegal, the ethical damage was severe. The Longbridge site was eventually redeveloped. Parts of the MG brand lived on under Chinese ownership. Today, MG cars still exist, built by SAIC, but they are no longer British in anything but name. The UK lost its last volume car manufacturer, and for many former workers, the sense of betrayal never faded. So what really killed MG Rover? It was not just globalization. It was not just foreign competition. And it was not just bad luck. MG Rover failed because it tried to survive on nostalgia instead of innovation. Because it delayed hard decisions. Because leadership focused on short-term survival rather than long-term transformation. The Phoenix Consortium bought time but did not buy a future. The government supported jobs but avoided deeper structural intervention. BMW exited rationally. Chinese partners acted strategically. And in the middle of it all were workers who believed the promises and paid the price. MG Rover became a lesson written in steel and silence. A lesson that emotional rescue stories do not replace capital investment. That branding cannot hide outdated products forever. And that in global manufacturing, survival requires brutal honesty and constant reinvention. Today, when people walk past the old Longbridge site, few remember the noise of the assembly lines or the pride of building something British. But the story of MG Rover remains a warning. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing a company can do is believe its own legend. Thanks for watching the video. We appreciate your dedication to our channel. We would like to personally thank you for that. Not a subscriber yet? Please subscribe so we can reach 5,000 subscribers. Thank you in advance. If you have any suggestions for companies you would like to know about, please let us know. Thanks again and see you tomorrow.